Here's a challenge for all of you sales leaders and all of you salespeople out there. Do you think as consciously when you walk into a sales meeting of the stories you're going to tell and thus the emotion you're going to leave in the room as you do the facts and data about your solution and your business? I think if we're honest with each other, myself included, the answer is no. I think we rely and we over-rely on facts and data, charts and graphs, PowerPoint slides and brochures. Then we think consciously about, hey, I've got 45 minutes with this customer. What emotion do I want to leave in the room? Here's what we know. We know that stories are anywhere from 2 to 50 times more powerful than facts and data. So why the heck do we make this consideration? Why do we make this unconscious choice? We've got to bubble up this stuff to consciousness. We've got to make a conscious decision. I'm going to bring these facts and data. Nothing wrong with facts and data. I'm going to bring these brochures. I'm going to bring this demo. I'm going to bring these PowerPoint slides into this meeting. But I sure as heck am going to offset those and add color and context around those with a couple of stories. If that's true, if you buy even half of that, if you land somewhere between 2 and 50 times more powerful stories are than facts, then the next obvious question is, you got to have them. You got to have stories. The metaphor here is we all are, we're wearing a quiver of arrows on our back. The quiver is the container, the arrows are our stories. And I walk into this customer today, or I get on the phone with that customer this afternoon, and I tell different stories. And I can pull out the yellow one for this customer based on what I know about her, and I can pull out the red one for this customer based on what I know about him and his challenge. We have to be agile with our stories. And it starts with, what are the types of stories you're telling? I believe there are 4 types of stories we tell in sales. They're very straightforward. We tell success stories. We tell failure stories. We tell fun stories. And we tell legends. And legends, just to be thorough, has a 2-part definition. I could tell you a legend story, sort of a once upon a time ancient teaching story from religion, spirituality, history, culture. Or I could just as well tell you a story about Steve Jobs or Anita Roddick from The Body Shop, right? These are business legends. So legends has sort of a 2-part definition, but these are the 4 types of stories we're telling. And being agile with our storytelling means being equipped, having these arrows already in our quiver, and thinking as consciously about, do I have the right stories and the right combination for Justin this morning and Susan this afternoon? And once we get good at this, then we can begin thinking about the motion we leave in the room. Think about it just for a second and break these down very quickly. What do success stories give your audience, your customer? Well, they give her inspiration. They're inspirational, they're aspirational, they're motivational. Now, stories, like every sales tool that I talk about on these videos, has a dark side. Every tool has a dark side if you overuse it. If I tell Susan too many success stories, guess what happens? I become arrogant. My ego is huge, right? I'm over-manifesting success stories. So use these judiciously. That's why there's 4 types. But success stories are very powerful. Inspire, motivate, right? Failure stories, the next category. Sounds strange to say, Craig, okay, I'm telling failure stories in the context of a sales situation. You bet. Why? Because failure stories do 2 incredibly powerful things. They show me the way, meaning they help me understand the lessons learned that caused, the cause of a failure and the lessons that you derived from it. Very powerful. Most people now believe that we as adults, we as humans, learn more from our failures than we do from our successes. And therein lies the main reason to tell failure stories. The other thing you gain from failure stories is humility. We've all failed. It's okay. And the fact that you can tell a failure story endears you to someone. They go, hey, this person is really self-aware. These are very powerful emotions that people feel when you're selling to them and trying to influence their decision-making. Fun stories are pretty straightforward. What do you get from fun stories? You lighten the mood. You lower the intensity. These are huge benefits in our busy culture where we're all struggling and striving. And the opposite, the dark side of fun stories, is pretty obvious. If I tell too many fun stories, I turn into a clown. I don't want to be an entertainer. I want to be an educator. And so I have to watch that fine line. And then finally, legend stories are interesting because you often get the other 3 types in a legend story. So the advantage of a legend story is they're rich. They got all kinds of stuff, right? There's a journey that you're on, and there's a great, wonderful arc. Guys, this is why we go to movies. This is why we read novels. The dark side of a legend is they're long. They have a huge arc. There's lots of context. And you can get over your skis in telling a legend story. I have certainly broken this rule myself, where I'm into a legend story and the audience is going, oh my God, this is a long story. So you have to be careful with legend stories. But the bottom line here is think consciously about what you're walking in with. Facts and data, fine, but make sure that you couple that with stories and be conscious of the emotion you're leaving in the room. Success, failure, fun, and legends. Collect them.